Well, good morning and welcome to the Tec-Talk Podcast. This is day number 3 at the Space and Missile Defense Symposium morning session. We don't have an afternoon session. We had the last 2 days, we've had a full day, but today's the final day of the symposium, but it's been a great time. Of course, this podcast was done in joint partnership with iHeartMedia. Shout out to iHeartMedia. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest, Amanda Pace. She is the business development manager for a company called North Star Imaging. Welcome to the podcast, and good morning. And by the way, it's still morning, Tom.
Yeah.
Good morning, and how's your morning going?
Good. It's been a long week, but a great week. I am excited to go home today, and just relax, enjoy, take in everything that I've heard over the last couple of days, and just digest it so much.
Are you going to have to get on a plane to go back home, or do you get to drive home?
No, I will be flying back to West Michigan
Okay.
later this afternoon. So yeah, not too bad of a flight, but it's a flight nonetheless. So
What's the weather like up there right now?
Oh, it's awful, humid.
Is it as bad as here?
Oh gosh, on some days I'd say yes, but not as severe.
I have some friends that are up there right now up in Michigan, not Western Michigan, but they're up in the Camp Grayling area.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how far that is from you, but they're doing some Army training with the Army National Guard.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have multiple friends who are out of Grayling from the Army National Guard, and I always love it when they come back from their training and I get to hear all the cool stuff that they were working on. It is one of the benefits of being, I think I'm like 2 hours away from Grayling, so it's not too bad.
And what I realized is the weather was nice up in Grayling. You're far enough north to where it gets into the 50s at night and it's 75, 80 degrees in the day. It's like perfect work environment, especially for military personnel. You're not sweating all day long.
Yeah, I think, northern Michigan and the UP is kind of slept on a little bit as far as weather and like training for that kind of thing. So yeah, no, I see what you're gorgeous up there.
Oh, it's awesome. So Amanda, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and how you ended up at North Star Imaging. And then once you do that, we can go in and start talking about all the great things you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I have been with North Star Imaging just a little over a year. And I am a non-destructive testing enthusiast. Love it. I could talk on and on about the benefits of the science behind it, how, instead of destroying a part, we can tell you exactly what's wrong with it without doing any damage. I have level 2 RT-PT experience, and North Star is one of the greatest innovators in the world of CT, computed tomography. And
you're using words I don't understand. You might have to explain some of these for me.
I know, my goodness. And it's so funny because you come here and I'm so used to being in an environment of the non-destructive testing people. And so I always have to like dial it back a little bit. And I'm just like, you're going.
It's all good. You can't take the technical out of the person.
Yeah, I know. You can't. But computed tomography, very similar to when you go get a CT or MRI. But instead of bodies, we do aerospace, medical devices, things that you would be surprised have as tight technical specifications. It's incredible, the things that we see, everything from microscopic medical devices that get implanted in you into rockets. I personally love the aerospace and military defense sector of what I do, but all of it's so fascinating, and how the things that we scan are used in real life.
Yeah, for sure. And see, this is a topic that I'm not super familiar with, so you're going to have some questions that I'm just from basic curiosity. So you may be in trouble.
Oh God, I love this.
I'm just kidding. But with North Star Imaging, where are you guys headquartered out of? And it sounds like, just from our brief conversation so far, you guys have been in the commercial space for a while, I would assume. And then are you in the Department of War, defense, like you said, the defense sector? Are you guys breaking into that space, or you guys have been doing this kind of work for quite some time?
Yeah, absolutely. So North Star Imaging, our headquarters are in Rogers, Minnesota. That is where we actually manufacture capital equipment that can be sold to, everybody from medical devices, again, to your Lockheeds, your military, Department of Defense, Department of Energy, all those great parts of the government that we love to support. 40 years is a long time in CT and what they're doing. And I honestly, that's almost as old as I am. And knowing that this kind of technology was around 40 years ago was just incredible. We have a facility in Aliso Viejo, California. I'm there often for work. It's gorgeous. It is one of the best facilities I've ever seen as far as like the capabilities. We have a 6 MeV high energy unit, which can get through significant amount of titanium alloys. And in aerospace, your Inconel, your titanium, those are pretty important. And knowing that those quality materials are there, like it's a benefit.
So with that in mind, has this? I know everyone's familiar with the CT scanning and of the human body and things like that. How long has this work been going on when you're like CT scanning or scanning parts of a missile system, parts of a vehicle? I'm just imagining you can do probably a lot with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So nerd fact, X-ray CT actually came from the military.
Okay.
They are honestly, the military is kind of like the guide, right? That's where it originated. And it was a physician who they wanted to see the structure of an airplane. And he said, hey, let's use the X-ray I use on bones on this and tell us what's wrong with this plane. And that is where that actually like originated from.
Oh, wow.
World War II, which
Learned
is
something
insane.
new.
Yeah. And so then, it just kind of has gone from there where originally it used to be film. And then it moved into, your CR, your DR, which stands for digital radiography.
Okay.
And then into the CT, which is the computed tomography. North Star imaging, we probably get 10 to 15 calls a week asking for medical imaging because people don't quite understand that difference. But we love hearing those calls, and we definitely, point them in the right direction. We just can't, unfortunately, scan a body with the power.
Yeah, the power. And I would imagine these machines that are doing the scanning are rather large.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you're scanning an aircraft, I can imagine that it's pretty large.
For sure. So in Orlando, actually, which is our third facility that we have a 9 MeV unit. And the size of part that we can do is like a double-sided refrigerator. Okay. And then our technicians, which I think are some of the best in the country, if not the world, configure ways to just get anything they can in there. We were talking about doing a large component that we're talking 900 pounds, massive. And one of our technicians was like, let's just get a merry-go-round in here. And he was dead serious. He's like, let's get a kid's merry-go-round in here, put the part on that, and then rotate it through. So it's engineering, it's the non-destructive testing. I am in such a cool field.
Yeah, it is a very intriguing field, for sure. How big is North Star? How many employees do you guys have?
So our between the 3 facilities, we have about 200 employees, and it's growing. It's always growing. And my soapbox, I would say, if like there was something I was passionate about besides the non-destructive testing, it would be strengthening the workforce. Non-destructive testing has massive gaps of employees that are willing to go and do it. Nobody really knows about it, and I think that's kind of a hindrance to having a good stockpile of great employees. So we have 200, and they range from office management support all the way to technicians to people who manufacture the unit. We have incredible welders. I will hands down say aerospace welders are the best. I've seen some really great TIG work come out of them. We have good welders like that. So it's important when you're dealing with radiation. Like you want a good solid project. So
for sure. So we're here sitting today at the Space and Missile Defense Symposium, and when you decided, North Star and you guys decided to have a presence and come here, you said is this your first opportunity to be here, or how many times have you come in the past?
So this is my second. Okay. We'll call it a tour. Yeah. Last year it was very intimidating, and we had talked about how I have pointers for new people. I have to say, you have to do those first couple of years before you can have an opinion on it, because the first year in, you don't really know anybody. You're just kind of like a tiny fish in a big ocean. The opportunities that I've noticed the second time through, I mean, this has not just the most space I've seen, but the talks are actually pertinent to what I do and who I am as an American citizen.
Yep.
Not to be a dork, but hearing talk about the Golden Dome, and it's interesting because last year when I was here, it was almost like the term Golden Dome had like a reverence to it, and you almost had to like softly say it.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're like, Golden Dome, let's rock this. But I would say you have to do it a couple of years. The networking here and the level of professionalism is just, I hate to say this, but this is probably one of my favorite. I'm very loyal to the same conferences, but this is an incredible opportunity. And I'm glad North Star sent our team here.
No, you nailed it on the head. I mean, there's a lot of not knocking any other conferences because to each their own, depending on what you do and the company you're at, some conferences might not be as valuable. But I would say that almost any company that's trying to do anything in the commercial sector or the defense space, you cannot go wrong here with the amount of industry engagement as well as how forward-leaning and how the government has made it an effort to have the government personnel embedded into this kind of conference. Yes. It helps dramatically. So, like you just said, the talks are super relevant. They are telling us exactly. There's no excuse. We know what the government wants.
Yeah.
They tell us exactly what they want and how quick they want it.
Yes.
And the relationship aspect, like you already hit on, is so crucial in any kind of business. And you nailed it. I think you also have realized a lot of companies are like, well, I went to a conference for 1 year and nothing came from it. Well, you might not see the direct impacts in a year, sometimes 2 years, but down the road, those 3 or 4 years later, you make the connections like, oh, I need this person. Oh, I got their card. I can call them. I can email them. Yes. That's where the relational side of the business aspect comes into play.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your thoughts on, I know you said you were slightly overwhelmed the first year. Of course, the second year that you came, this is the largest that this event has ever been.
Yeah.
We have surpassed all previous numbers over the last 3 years. Of course, this year we surpassed the 25 numbers. I think we're around 10,700 people.
Last year, when I was here, my first year, they're like, this is the biggest attendance. I said, I can believe it.
Yep.
And now that I'm used to the size of it, it's just, I'm hoping that we find a way moving forward to just keep it here, grow the numbers, have tents outside, whatever we need to do, because the vibe here is just, I love it. It's beneficial to everybody.
I can assure you that it's going to continue.
Good.
Next year's probably going to even be bigger.
Yeah.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
That's a good bubble to burst.
It's it'll be the 30th year.
That's incredible.
So the 25th year, of course, COVID was still around, so we weren't able to celebrate like we wanted to. So 30 is going to be a big year for us.
I bet.
So already looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And by the way, for anyone that's listening, if you plan to attend, you should probably start planning to attend now, as well as start looking about travel arrangements and where you're going to stay and all that, because it gets booked up very quickly.
No cars. You cannot rent a car right now.
No cars available and limited parking. But I will say the city of Huntsville has embraced this fully ever since it's been here. And we couldn't do this without all the amazing volunteers. There's so many volunteers that are involved in this effort. A majority of the planning committee for this event, as soon as this event gets over, they're going to start working on planning the next one.
That's incredible.
And it's, they work it for a whole year.
Yeah, that's great.
But so with North Star, of course, you're here. You're trying to get into the defense space. You already are doing some of that. The goal, I guess, you guys, I would envision you guys as like somewhat of an integrator or like an additional capability that you can bring to a specific company. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. There is not. I have this really cool trick, and it's kind of annoying because I get so excited about it. But you can tell me a problem that you're having in manufacturing, and I can tell you how CT can help it. And it's even down to like welding powder, when they do the additive manufacturing. Sometimes you have like foreign object debris that's in there. CT scan it. You can find it because of the density. Nerdy CT stuff. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. I like it.
But that is where, companies like North Star Imaging and our competitors benefit. And I heard someone say, there is enough of the pie to share here, right?
There is.
Just what I like about this, it's not necessarily competition. It is, how can we all help you?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're a team. And since we're talking about space and missile defense, which is a hot topic right now with all of the different conflicts that are going on across the world right now. I want to talk a little bit about the aspect of what you guys have done in the missile arena.
Okay.
When it comes to CT scanning, are you guys working with some of the large primes? As you know, we all see them in the news: Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, L3 Harris. There's a huge push for interceptors, hypersonics. And could you talk a little bit more about how your technology is being leveraged from that perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So do we deal with those primes? Absolutely. What we are trying to do is think of the small people too. In the conversations yesterday in the hall, somebody had mentioned creating a space where the government can go to find new vendors, right? So it's not always the big ones. And what's great about North Star is, yes, you can give us a rocket and we'll scan it from head to toe, but a lot of those components have to be certified previously to being installed. And so we will start with simple cables for the smaller, lower tiered suppliers. And we see them at different stages. And so I know myself and my colleagues, we get really excited because we've seen a lot of these, it's like a small piece of the puzzle. And when we come here and we're standing next to a rocket, we're like, this is the entire puzzle put together. And it chokes me up a little bit. It's incredible to be a part of something like that and making it safe and making it function the way it should in the end. And that is what CT and DR is the main purpose, is making sure those are safe and well made.
So along those lines, missile defense has been talked about a lot here. Another main topic has been artificial intelligence, AI. And I've had a lot of different talks with a lot of different people. Of course, everyone's using AI specifically towards whatever problem set they're trying to solve.
Right.
What I envision, and correct me if I'm wrong, is let's say you have a CT scan, and a human eye has been mostly the ones that have been reviewing the data from a CT scan. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
So what I'm curious is are you guys looking at, or are you all already incorporating some kind of AI capability that can look at some imagery or images that you guys have scanned and be able to identify something rather quickly, rather than, sometimes, like, I guess I'm not a doctor, so I guess sometimes the doctors have to look at something for quite a while to see. Are you guys doing that? And how are you guys trying to use that effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. So several years ago, when AI first came into non-destructive testing, there's a lot of people who are against it. There's the error factor and them not being trained properly. I think at this point, NDT, NSI have really embraced AI, and we use it in a safe way. Of course, there's regulations and specification requirements that you can't use AI for a final inspection. However, there are modules within software that can look at the gray values of a CT. And that is essentially what DR and CT is just a photograph and all the different shades of black, white, and gray, and differentiating between those to outline like what's called like an indication, right? And that is how AI is assisting us currently. Now, there are companies out there who can use DR and CT scans, and they train their AI, which is actually really great. Maybe it's just my zillennial outlook. I still would have that fear of missing something using AI, and so I would still have the
human in the loop.
Yes,
but use it to allow the human to focus on a more specific area.
Perfect. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's what we're aiming towards.
Yeah, because I can just see the applicability. I mean, just in different radar. The government has all these different sensors, and we have all this imagery. Now, not from a CT, but from all kinds of different sensors and radar systems. And they're trying to figure out how they can use it effectively to comb through lots of data via pictures or however the data is formatted. And AI does a rather good job of identifying slight changes. Or stuff like that. Yeah. That's interesting. I see I could see it being super applicable to a lot of different areas. Now, a majority of your work right now outside the medical field, where are you guys spending most of your time and effort?
It would be the military in aerospace
Okay.
section. Yeah, that's about 80% of our business.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I got my boss over there. He's telling me, hey, it's time to wrap it up and go to the next one. But
Absolutely.
before we do that, I always like to ask the guest I'm talking to about when someone hears of North Star Imaging,
Mm-hmm.
what do you want them to know, and what do you want them to think about you guys?
Absolutely. I would say innovators in computer tomography and DR, and leaders in imaging.
Leaders in imaging. There you go. North Star Imaging. Two rapid fire questions. I always do this at the very end.
Let's do it.
She's not gonna. Okay.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yesterday,
I like a challenge. I saw chuckles.
Yeah, yesterday we were interviewing Command Sergeant Major, retired Finis Dotson. He was a former SMDC Sergeant Major with General Carbler.
Okay.
But the question we asked him was great. It was great, and you're gonna laugh about it.
Okay.
What is your favorite cereal, and what noise does it make when it comes out of the box into the bowl?
Oh, I love this. Life cereal, hands down, and it goes.
It is. I'm about to say,
yep. Yeah.
The other guy was Fruit Loops, and he was like, I'm like, I don't think that's accurate. And then, what is the coolest spot that you visited outside the U.S.?
Oh my gosh, the Dominican
Republic.
Yeah,
Is the water very clear?
Where I was at, yeah.
I got you.
But outside lying areas, outside of the tourist area, little sketchy, but it put things into perspective, like where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
And no, it was just everyone was so friendly.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. Really enjoyed this conversation. I think we could have talked for a lot longer.
Yeah, thank you so much.
But I wish you guys all the greatest success, especially in the defense sector and helping the warfighter and all the other companies. I would say that I'm sure that you're not opposed to companies reaching out and asking to partner on specific efforts. So if you have questions, please reach out. And the opportunity you guys have, we look forward to seeing you next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And get you back on the podcast so you can tell us all the other great things you've done over the last year.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Take care.